decided this morning, I was having a conversation with my daughter, and I had to move my car because I parked in front of her in the driveway. So I moved my car in order for her to get out. And she was upset that she had to go to school this morning. And so she regularly tries to negotiate. She has great negotiation skills, but not better than mine. She regularly tries to negotiate me calling her out from school or her only having to go to school for 4 days a week because she got all A's and all of this stuff. And so while she was at school, she hit me up while I was in the studio and she said, "Dad, you got to call me out." And I said, "No, Leslie." She said, "Dad, you got to call me out." I said, "No, Leslie." She said, "Dad, if you don't call me out, I'm going to cry." I said, "I don't care. You can go ahead and cry. I'm not calling you out today, Leslie." And she said, "Why?" She said, "I got all A's and I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting here and look." And so she FaceTimed me and I could see her and she was just chilling. And I think our American school systems is kind of failing our children. If it wasn't for the real life lessons and the things that she does after school and a taekwondo and a contributing from her mother and I into her life and really playing a role and showing her entrepreneurship and things like that. I feel sorry for a lot of kids whose parents feel compelled to just let the school system, and I don't care how good the school system is. I think that it's getting worse and worse. And that's one of the reasons why we voted Trump in, is because we needed a transformation of our Department of Education, because it doesn't prepare our children. And I'm not even just talking about recently, I'm talking about historically. Aside from the fact that most public schools and most private schools, maybe not private schools, but a lot of public schools, they are not only failing the children because the parents are failing the education system, and we as voters are failing by voting in people that are creating curriculums that are not ideal for what our children need to be. Um, for a long time, I think the school systems have taught our children how to pass tests, right? And my daughter, she don't even like, this is easy, honestly. And I'm sure that a lot of our kids are similar. A lot of our kids are similar in that it's breeze for them. They not tripping. It's easy for them to get A's. But I think that probably 60% of the time, because again, I am very involved in my daughter's life, I would say that probably about 60 to 70% of the time is fluff. It's traveling to and from classes, is substitute teachers, all of these things, right? And so the actual learning, the actual curriculums themselves is probably only about 35 to 40% of whatever it is that they do in school. And so many parents depend on their children or depend on the school system to raise their children. And that's why they can't wait to get them out the household once they turn 18. But I was having this conversation with her on FaceTime this morning. And of course, I told her I wasn't going to call her out of school. And most of the time, I give her the autonomy to determine when she's going to go to school and when she's not going to go out of school. But I told her, I said, "Hey, listen, why don't you do something more productive while you're there?" She said, "Like what?" I said, "Like create a business plan." I said, "If you create a business plan or you come up with some great ideas or you work on some things that are really, really awesome, maybe I'll fund it." And she said, "Okay, I'll work on that, but I can do that from home." I said, "Nope, you got to stay outside and I want you to do it from there." I said, "You know what? I just came up with an idea." She said, "What idea did you come up with, Dad?" And she was very upset at the fact that I wouldn't call her out of school. And I said, "You know what? I too need to get back to the core of who I am." I mean, I've had some successes, obviously, from a business perspective, from a content creation perspective. But if you've been following the Darth Anton channel, recently I went back to my childhood home and I showed people the church that I grew up in, the home that I grew up in, the neighborhood where I'm from. I took you through the house, the backyard, and all of that. And I showed you how bad it was. But I used to do a lot of urban exploration, and that urban exploration went from Detroit to Metro Detroit, all the way outside of Detroit, and then I started exploring other places, and I've been to a lot of places. But what I came up with was largely inspired by her, because I said, "Listen, Leslie, I am going to be traveling the entire United States of America. And then once I get done traveling the United States of America, I'm going to continue to travel the world." And she said, "Well, what does that look like?" I said, "Well, what I think I'm going to do for the most part is I'm going to pick a different city, mostly in different states, at least for 1 week every single month, and I'm going to live there. And you are more than welcome to come along with me." You know, I don't like to make her do anything. I want to inspire her. I don't think that she'll be as interested. She may join me for a few of the dates or whatever. I said, but every single month for the foreseeable future, who knows, for the next 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, every single month, I am going to pick a different state, a different city. You found me off the high roller video? I am going to pick a different state, a different city, maybe even a different country every single month. And I'm going to make a solo journey and I'm going to discover every single thing that I can about that place. I want to know about the churches. I want to know about the culture. I want to know how people are living. I want to know what the nightlife is looking like. I want to know what the weekends look like there. I want to understand exactly how people are doing things on the streets. I am going to pick both small, southern, western, eastern, Midwest, middle of America, mountain time. As long as I got good Wi-Fi, I'm good. As long as I have good Wi-Fi, I'm good. I am going to pick a different city, a different state, and I am going to rediscover what made me great. And it was my curiosity. It was my curiosity to understand other cultures. It was my curiosity to look at the architecture. It was my curiosity to know what people really wanted by really being outside as much as possible. And I love my city. I've created a great space for me to exist in as far as Detroit, Michigan. I love my city. I love my studio. I love my spaces. I've cultivated something really, really great. But see, the thing about me is that if I get content, then I'll get in a lull. And if you get in a lull, you start to get comfortable. You start to get comfortable, you don't push yourself. And I need to push myself. I need to live every day like it's my last. So I used to take these journeys all the time. I would go to a different state. I would go to Vegas. I would go to different places and I would just live and I would live with myself and I would live with God and I would be in this solo haven to where, you know, conversations with God, conversations with myself. And I would take, a week and every month or something like that, every few months, and just go and just figure it out, drive through the mountains and understand it. I want to go and understand every single culture and every single place. And so that is what my goal is starting this month. I need to figure out a budget now. I'm thinking about it. That's the problem with a lot of these inspirational spirit of moment things is that you don't really take everything into consideration. You just go. That's my thing. I just do. When I opened up my first business, I came up with it over the weekend and I just went. And then when I opened up my restaurant, I just came up with it over the weekend and I just started going. And so if you think too hard about it, if you think too long, if you plan too long, you'll start to get analysis paralysis and you won't do anything. If you think too long, you'll start to get analysis paralysis and you won't do anything. So I need to come up with a budget. Chat, what should my budget be? Chat, tell me what my budget is. What's my monthly budget for going to a different place? And I'm gonna document the whole thing. But see, the thing is if the budget is too big, then it's unrealistic because you don't really get to experience the culture the way you want to. So you gotta live kind of sort of like regular people, and you gotta plan like regular people, and that's what's gonna make it interesting. Chat, what's my budget? Your car says 10K. I like that. Mr. Youngblood City says 27. Trini says 20,000 a month. Sabrina says 15. Y'all got some big budgets, I see. Jerry says 15 to 20. Keisha says facts 20,000. Tim Ball says J Ben. K Lily 3K. Dion Sardines 20. Jennifer says 15. $300. All right, Deshaun, you on your own on that one. Brandon says 20. Brandon L says $1 million a month. Spend $1 million a month. That's crazy. Anya says 10. Paul says 10. King brother. So 10K look like the consensus. I'm gonna go with what the consensus is. Earl says 5. Gabby says 5,000. Tommy Boy says 8,000. Happens to me a lot. Justin P. I think myself out of. Yeah, we can't do that. Quick says 35. Chip says 5 to 10. Keita says 2K per city. Okay, so listen. But remember this, y'all. I have to be able to feed myself. I have to go plane tickets, feeding yourself, hotels, being able to get around, rental car if I need to, or public transportation. Most of the time, I'm gonna try to take public transportation or Ubers. So take all of that in consideration. All right. So don't hit me with $300 because that's not even gonna get me back and forth. All right. Let me see. Latrell says 10. Trill says 5. No, Trill says 6. Just Marcus 5. See My Truth 15 to 20. Live with the Poor. Live Seeker says 3,500. Millennial Mark TV says 10,000. Brandon 5,000. $50 a day. How much is $50 a day? $50 a day is 500. That's $1,500 a month. Think I can get through on $1,500 a month traveling? I see a lot of 10,000s. 5,000 says Land Sales Cars. Will Nola says $300. For everything security and everything, at least 15,000 says Oot Milk. 10 to 15,000 to be conservative. Why not? I like that, Kim Bread. A lot of people are saying 10. Some people are saying 5. Brandon Victor says 10. Carlos says 5. Graphic Goon says 5. 1K a month. Jay Drizzle. Oh man, that's not a discovery. That's trying to figure out how you go. $1,000 to survive for a week. Man, I don't even think that this gonna pay for the hotel room. I'm gonna be honest with you, big dog. Eric OG says, how long are you saying? So I anticipate spending the whole week. So my goal is to probably either fly out like a Sunday or a Monday and then come back on a Sunday. So either Sunday to Sunday or Monday to Sunday because I want to get the full experience. 5, 10, yep, 10, Jesus. Hey, Jesus Christ says 5,000 is enough to be doing everything and not live rich. Your car says that's why you say 10K. I do. I am going to be, listen, Sabrina, no. I'm going to be honest with you. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do the first. Listen, I'm past 40. I'm not doing anything less than first class. I'm gonna just be honest with you. I'm not doing anything less than first class. So listen, I'm not trying to be. I want to be in the mix with everybody, but I still want to have access to all of the amenities and the conveniences that I have. I'm here to discover myself. I'm not here to suffer. Rent an RV? Oh no. Oh, you know what else I could do? You know what else I could do? I could buy a Sprinter van. I could live in my car. I could buy a Sprinter. No, I'm not going to buy a Sprinter. Because if I buy a Sprinter, then that means I got to live on the road. I don't want to live on the road. I don't want to have to drive all across America. I just want to go there, live. No, I'm not buying no van. I'm not buying no Sprinter van. You can forget that. So, started thinking about it. You can't fly Delta. Why I can't fly Delta? Nah. 10,000. PJ says 80. You got to remember we talking about you, brother. 10,000 would be a good one. All right, I think we got a consensus. All right, so this is what we'll do because it seemed like everybody is kind of sort of either all the way up to the 20s and way down into the 2,500s. So we just going to go in the middle. We're going to go 10. All right. And this is what I'm thinking. Just because you have a budget of 10 does not mean that you have to spend the whole 10. Just because you have a budget of 10 don't mean that you got to spend the whole 10. All right. So this is what I haven't even determined what the first place is going to be. So we're going to go up. We're not going to go past 10 per month. All right. Let's stay closer to probably 5, but we're not going to go past 10 per month. And I'm sure some places are going to be more expensive than others. If you go over to somewhere in California, it's probably going to be much different than going over to Philadelphia, right? So, yeah, we'll mix it up. We'll stay between 5 and 10, no more than 5, anticipate, or no more than 10, anticipate more closer to 5. I think that makes sense. I think that makes sense. Where should my first city be, y'all? Let's come up with a city. Everybody got to have a budget. I don't care how much money you got. Everybody should have a budget. Everybody should have a budget. Let's come up with a city, y'all. Let's pick a city. Bentonville, Arkansas, San Antonio, come to Georgia. Shout out to Molly. Molly says 7,500. Boca Raton, Milwaukee, Alaska, Monaco. Monaco. I'm gonna have to catch Monaco next year. I heard that they already got the Grand Prix setting up there. I'm not ready yet. Chicago. This one is gonna be alone, Osriel. I gotta discover myself. You can't listen, fellas. Ladies and gentlemen, 3 weeks out of the month is for everybody else. 1 week of the month is going to be for me. This is what guys need to start doing. In order for y'all to have a healthy mindset, a healthy relationship with yourself, to really center yourself, a lot of you guys lose yourself. And I'm telling you, this works. I've been doing it for my whole life. I kind of got distracted for it from a little while, but I've been doing this my whole life. You have to. I see y'all with the cities. Boise, Idaho. I love Boise. You guys have to, definitively have to, all right, take 25% of your time, and this goes for the ladies too. So y'all need to start having some real life discussions with the people that you're next to every day. But you have to take 25% of your time and allocate it to you. It's okay. Y'all not going nowhere. Everybody gonna be fine. Ain't nobody gonna die. It's gonna be good. As long as you take care of your responsibilities, allocate space and time for you. You guys are so caught up with being complacent in what you have that you no longer have discovered yourself. That's why your dreams has died. That's why your dreams are dying. Your dreams are dying because you stop living and you stop dreaming and you stop anticipating and you stop discovering yourself. And so because you don't have you so busy focused on everybody else that you haven't even cultivated your relationship with God. And I'm not telling you that you got to travel the world like me, but I'm telling you that you need to create space for your own mental health well-being and to dream, to build businesses, to get things together. We're so busy just being busy that we haven't had time to take space for ourselves to discover ourselves. I determined that the reason why I buy so many cars is because I don't spend enough time focusing on things. I'm buying cars and stuff, not only just because it's a passion, but because I'm bored. And it's not that I'm not busy. I'm doing a lot. I got a lot of stuff going on, but mentally, I've stunted myself because I'm so busy just being in this space and focusing on everybody else. So then I'll say, oh, you know what? I want to buy a new car. So then you go and buy a new car, but then you get a whole bunch of cars and you can't even drive them because you only got one. Take some time and spend some time with yourself, and then spend the other 3 weeks with the other people that's meaningful to you. I'm telling you, it's going to blow your mind. It's going to change your mindset. You're going to really, really be able to spread out. Nah, I'm not going to be on Figueroa, Leo. Yeah. Nah, I'm not going to be getting arrested for prostitution.